is homecoming at the University of Western Ontario, and that always means the largest crowd of the season at TD Waterhouse Stadium. But in addition to the festivities, this is also a very emotional day. Just moments ago, a brief tribute and a moment of silence was held on behalf of former Mustang running back Mike Kirkley, who along with his wife passed away in a plane crash on September the 8th in New Jersey. Both coaches, Greg Marshall of McMaster and Larry Haler here at Western, were close to him, and last week Marshall said it really affected him, obviously, as he prepared for the team's game against Windsor. So we'll see how the two coaches handle this today. It's not as if this game needed any more reason to be emotional. The two teams are at the top of the standings. They have become fierce rivals, both 3-0, and last year McMaster defeated Western twice, once in the playoffs to knock them out, and for those Mustang players who are returning, the losses have stung them. It's also stung them because McMaster has moved up with them to the elite of this football conference. The Mustangs, for a long time, have been the dominant team in Ontario. They only won the Yates Cup over the past 7 years, and under Marshall, the Marauders are now the two-time defending champions. But the Mustangs have weapons, especially at receiver. First-year man Andy Fantuz has been a real revelation, and now there's a second dandy Andy Taylor, who will make his debut today, and number 82 should make an immediate impact. To tell us about them and everything else you need to know, here are Tim McAuliffe and Ben Chapdelaine. And Ben, no cheering in the press box.
Oh my God, the rip's already falling. I'll let you respond to that.
Sure, I'll just take the hat off, but the tie stays on for the rest of the game, Elliot.
All right, let's talk some football. And we've got some quality players in this game. One of the most exciting is a freshman for Western at the wide receiver spot, Andy Fantuz, leading the CIS in receiving yards. How rare is that for a freshman?
You know what? Coaches are usually happy to have a first-year player that they can build up over the 2 or 3 years coming up. To have a guy that's coming in his first year, leading the country in yards receiving, and to be able to beat all the other Western receivers from last year is a pretty good accomplishment.
Yeah, and this massive crowd of over 10,500 will be cheering him on here. But he's not the only one tearing up the CIS. There's also 3 of the top 4 running backs in this game. We'll get to Western's Drew Solon in a second, but let's talk about Mac. Their running game is really carrying them with Kyle Peer and Jesse Lumsden.
That's right, and Jesse Lumsden is answering all the critics. He's coming in this year, and he's proved that he can play at this level, and he's had some great games so far. Kyle Peer is being used as a running back this year, unlike last year when he was basically a receiver for our offense. So I'm looking forward to seeing both of them doing some pretty good things for Mac this afternoon.
And they're going to have to get some help from their quarterbacks. Last week, just 4 of 21. And they're going to need this against a tough Western defense for those quarterbacks to be able to throw the ball and open up the running game.
That's right. And, you know, if I was Western, I would try to push Mac to throw the ball this afternoon. It'll be really tough for both Zaremba and Behe to be able to do that against a tough Western defense, but it should be a fun game, that's for sure.
It should be a fun game. Homecoming at Western. I'm working with one Mac alumni. Let's send it back to our Western alumni, Elliot Friedman.
Now joined by Western head coach Larry Haler, and Larry didn't know which quarterback you'd see this week. They've got 2. Was it difficult to prepare not knowing either Behe or Zaremba which one you were going to see?
Well, you know, the Mac offense is one that accommodates both their styles well, and I think they fit more to what Mac wants to do offensively than to a particular quarterback style. So, you know, they're both excellent. We thought that Behe would be the guy they would go to, and we're not surprised by that, but they can both play.
You know, we just had the tribute and the moment of silence for Mike Kirkley. I know you and him were close. Is it difficult for you to coach when that happens so close to game time?
Well, I think it was for Greg and I. It's a very bittersweet moment. But I know that Michael's here today, and I know he's enjoying the moment. And Greg and I love him dearly, and we miss him a world.
Thank you very much for your time, Coach.
Welcome back home.
Oh, thanks very much. Good luck today. When we come back, it's the opening kickoff. McMaster homecoming at Western here in London.
University Rush on the Score is brought to you by Pioneer Petroleums. Pioneer, driven to save you more. By RCA MP3. RCA, play louder. By Wilson Sports. Wilson, the official football of the OUA. And by Pizza Pizza, Ontario's #1 pizza. Welcome back to the TD Waterhouse Stadium on the campus of the University of Western Ontario. We have a look at Greg Marshall, a former player at the University of Western, and he's back here to face his
former head coach. Greg Marshall was also the offensive coordinator at the school. Larry Haler is an impressive record here at Western. We'll get to that, but we'll get to Matt kicking off our second edition of the University Rush right here on the Score Television Network. And Western taking it back. Christian Heffernan, he is swarmed by a host of Marauder tacklers at the 20-yard line. Let's have a look at the Western offense as they march out. Chris Hessel in his third year from London, but he's a little older than most. Ben, he's 27 years old guiding this offense.
That's right, and they call him Gramps for that reason, but he's had some pretty good numbers over the season. 56 of 90 and almost 1,000 yards after only 3 games. That's a pretty good record so far.
Definitely has turned it around. Last year he threw 6 TDs to 15 interceptions, and you saw the ratio just a second ago. It's a little better. Hessel under center. Drew Solon's the tailback. Little play action. He'll look to the flats. The fullback Mike Bonk. 4-yard gain, pushed out of bounds.
It was a nice throw by Chris Hessel to complete to Mike Bonk on the sidelines.
Let's have a look at the starting offense. We go across the offensive line. Some big fellows there, including Jeff St. Denis, 6'1", 275, and Martin Dion, 6'3", 275. Backs and receivers look as such. Greg Ross outside along with Andy Fantuz. We talked about him in the opening. You see Guillaume Leroux at the slot back position. We'll see a lot of him both catching the ball and running the ball. And Drew Solon, who is one of those top 4 rushers in the CIS. So second down for Western. They're passing again over the middle, and it is broken up, looking for Greg Ross on a short little post pattern.
That's right, and that was a nice play by Jansen Campbell-Skinner to come over top and tap the ball out with his right hand. Here it is from the defensive point of view. Hessel drops back. Nice throw down the middle. Nice route, but that's a great play by Campbell with the timing perfectly to avoid the penalty.
So it's a 2-and-out early for Western as Nathan Weiss comes on to punt.
And you know what, that's interesting because Nathan Weiss was a quarterback himself, so we might see some tricky things from Coach Haler later on this afternoon with Nathan Weiss as a punter.
Not a bad punter as well. He's 8th in the CIS, and he'll be kicking from deep in his own zone. Spiraling kick taken by Chris Rankin. Fumble, but he picks it back up and gets swarmed by a host of special teams tacklers of the Western Mustangs.
Good thing he picked that ball up because I can tell you that the Mustangs were coming for him. And anything that they can get early in this game, they will.
Well, Chris is averaging 12 yards a return, and that was a return of 5. Have a look at John Behe, who gets the start. We talked about the 2 quarterbacks. Looks like the youngster gets the start, Ben.
That's right, and after talking with Coach Marshall, he seemed a little bit more confident with Behe this week, only comparing both statistics from last weekend. So it'll be interesting to see how John fares this afternoon.
6'3", 180 in his first year from Burlington Nelson, where he played with Jesse Lumsden. Rolling out in his first pass, and he will send it down looking for Rankin, I believe, and some good coverage there by Chris Aiken. Let's have a look at the MAC starting offense as we go through some of these fellows. Fabio Feliz, 6'2", 296 at the left tackle spot as we go through. Hogarth has actually moved to the right guard spot, but we'll get into that a little later. Vaughn Swart, you threw a lot of balls to him last year along with Chris Rankin. Got some quality receivers, although they haven't touched the ball very often this year.
You're right, and you know what? They're going to try to pound the ball with Lumsden and with Pierre this afternoon, but interesting first play selection from Coach Marshall with the throw down the sidelines.
Second down, 10 to go, just shy of midfield. Another play call to throw, and Behe is out on the run looking for a man, and he looks deep. He's got a man open and a reception there. Looks like Vaughn Swart on the reception.
You know what? I don't know if they're going to call that a catch or not, but Vaughn had a pretty good job of trying to get away from people. And, you know, like John is a good athlete, and you can see it right here. He's got nowhere to go, runs to the outside, and you can see him looking downfield, and he sees Vaughn waving at him. Unfortunately, Vaughn just simply couldn't hang on to that ball. The sun may have had something to do with that, but too bad for them in that first drive.
My mistake. I thought he had it all the way. Comes out. It's the far side of the field for us, and I don't have good eyes. Mac punting, so 2-and-out for both squads. Guillaume Leroux watches it go out of bounds, and they'll mark that at the 23-yard line.
Not a bad kick by Mike Ray.
All right, let's look at Mac's starting defense. The Marauders go across the defensive line. Colin Shanahan has got a sack this year, 6 career sacks for the big fella out of Hamilton. onto the linebackers. Furtado, Botterill, Marius, a quality backing core for Mac. And the backs, Brandon Little, a converted quarterback, got 4 interceptions already this season. And Kwame Adu, as he likes to, he wants us to know how to pronounce that last name.
That's right, Kwame Adu, not Haidu.
Chris Hessel looks at first down, and we've got procedure, I believe, on the play.
Movement from the right tackle, Martin Dion.
Procedure on the offense. Western, first down repeated.
So we talked a little earlier about Andy Fantuz and how much of a key he is as a freshman in this offense. And do you expect him to go to them early?
Well, you know what? They're going to try to move him around. There's one thing that Coach Haylor told us even this week as we talked, and you know, he says he's not a 4-5 kind of guy. You know, he's not extremely fast, but they can move him around, put him in the slot back position, vary his alignment. I wouldn't be surprised to see Hessel going to him. 19
receptions for 406 yards and 2 touchdowns. Hessel back to pass. Plenty of time in the pocket. He goes over the middle. Greg Ross, and that's broken up in the defensive secondary.
Jeff Smith on the rip on the ball here, but that was great patience by Hessel to drop back, wait for his patterns to develop. Great job by the O-line to give him that much time to make a decision. Here he is waiting for his tight end to come across the field. Here he comes. Nice play. He should, you know what, usually coaches will tell a receiver, if he can touch it, you can catch it, you can reel it in. Unfortunately, he didn't do that on this one.
Now, you've been at Mac's practices. Did they specially set themselves up to face Fantuz? They haven't even looked to him yet.
You know what, Coach Sardo, defensive coordinator, has done some great things so far with the Mac defense, and you can see it right here on this play. Ray
Marius in on the sack. If he gets full credit for that, he would get 3 on the season. Mike Botterill also there to pressure Hessel on second down and long.
Hessel tries to roll out. He sees some pressure coming. Mike Botterill just hangs on to him, throws him down for a sack.
He's got 2 sacks this season. Give him 3. Give him 5 on the career. And Western will be punting from their own end zone with Mason Weiss. So Mac winning the field position game early.
That's right. It'll be interesting to see what they do with that ball.
Low snap, handled, but just getting it away. Rankin tries to pull it in. Excuse me, that's Rick Andrade trying to pull it in there.
It was an unbelievable catch by Rick Andrade here to make sure that none of the Western players could get a hold of that ball.
And back comes Behe to lead the Mac offense. They're going to get some great field position. Not only does he catch the ball, but they've got a no yards call as well.
That's right, and you know what? At this point in time in the game, you need to do 2 things as the Mac offense. You have one big play, which will give you what? Take the crowd away. If you can take the crowd away early in this game, if you're on the Mac sidelines, you're pretty happy. So we'll see what Coach Marshall tries to do here, whether he goes for the big guns and try to go for the end zone right away, tries to set up something else.
How about this for starting position? First down and 10 from the opponent's 22-yard line. Behe will hand the ball off. That is Jesse Lumsden looking to the outside, strung out well by the Western defense.
Great job by the defense to try to string him out. Jesse's speed comes into play on this one, and you can see him trying to put the burst on to try to go to the outside. So take a look at it from Jesse's eyesight, I guess. Turns to the corner, tries to set up his block. Great job by Chris Aiken to push him to the job.
We'll have a look at John Hamoud, linebacker, leading tackler on the Western team. You got to make that tackle.
You got to try to get a bigger piece of him.
So we have second down and short for the McMaster Marauders. Inside the red zone, Kyle Pierre met in the backfield by the man we just spoke of, Hamoud. Ball comes out, but he was down.
You can tell he's not the leading tackler for no reason. That was a big pop on Kyle Pierre. Great job. There he is trying to fill the gap. He just slides over, big pop, and wraps him up to make sure that the tackle was done.
A couple of 34s meeting on that play, but it is first down for Mac at the 10-yard line. And by the looks of the chains, they can get a first down, but that would be pretty close to the touchline. Mahmoud eyes Behe under center, and it looks like he'll have to pass. Quick little slam on Swarton reception to the 5-yard line of Western.
Nice job by John to go to the outside to his man Chris Rankin for a 5-yard hook. Great job by John to deliver the ball. Here's quick drop back, 3 steps to the outside. Great job. No one can take that ball away from Rankin. It's a great throw.
Thank you for correcting me on that. It is indeed Chris Rankin. The 2 and the 6 look a heck of a lot like the 8 and the 8.
You're right. From up here anyways.
So it is 2nd down for the McMaster Marauders. Inside the Western 5-yard line. Behe, the pitch. Outside goes. Here it is down to the goal line. We'll have to see where they mark that, and if indeed they can get that 1st down.
Talk about a big run by Kyle Peer on this play. He just put his head forwards and just kept his legs going. You had 3 or 4 Western guys on trying to stop him. There he is, toss to the left side. He realized that he's got nowhere to go because the Western defense comes up on him. Then he just basically just closes his eyes and tries to move forward.
It is 3rd down for the Marauders.
They've got the big man in on this one.
They got the big fellas in. 3rd down, big play early in this game. 8 minutes remaining. Here over the top, touchdown Marauders.
Nice job, nice push by the O-line. Kyle Peer getting some air over that O-line to get to the end zone. Great job.
Looked like the O-linemen just cut their guys and they went over top.
4-point stands by the O-line. Try to get just a little push to give enough room for Kyle to jump over top. Nice job.
The 34 up over the top reminded me a wee bit of Walter Payton at the goal line.
Almost as high up.
Almost. So the point after attempt by Michael Ray. He's 10 of 10 on converts this year. Snap down, up, and good. So McMaster on the board early in front of a hostile crowd. 7-0 Mac back after these. Welcome back to TD Waterhouse Stadium. 5 plays, 22 yards for the McMaster Marauders, and they jump out on the number 6th-ranked Western Mustangs. Drew Solon back to return the kickoff, and once again, great special teams coverage by the McMaster Marauders.
You're right, and you know it's going to make it tough for the Western offense to start all the way back in their own end zone, or close to it anyways, close to the 20-yard line. That makes it for a long field all day long.
So Chris Hessel will march back out with his offense and look to move the ball against this McMaster defense. Hessel, as I mentioned, in his 3rd year, went into his uncle's house framing business for a little while, and that'll send you back to school. A little hard labor. Little play action, a lot of misdirection running this Western offense.
You're right, and they'll do that a few times in the afternoon, trying to take the linebackers off of their keys, and they hand off the ball to the middle to the fullback, having a guy on the outside looping around just to try to throw the linebackers off a little bit.
They've been doing that forever at this school.
They certainly have, and the O-line has been probably the strength of this Western history over the years. You can talk about 5 or 6 old Western players who are now playing the CFL as O-linemen, so they'll run the ball and play around with it like that.
And it's very interesting to name the backs through the school from Lake Marshall on. Hessel under pressure, it's lofted up, and it is intercepted.
Brandon Little, once again, we talked about him earlier, and he had some great picks earlier in the season, and Hessel had a lot of pressure to throw that ball.
Looked like they tried to force it into Fan-Twos.
That's right. Kwame Adu on one side, Brandon Little going up for the ball in his hero back position, just goes up and makes his 5th pick of the season.
He's also got 2 TDs to go along with those 5 picks, so the converted quarterback working out well at that halfback spot.
Not bad for an old quarterback, I'd say. That's right.
So McMaster once again takes over. Hessel throwing his 5th pickoff of the season. Behe, play action. Look for Von Swarton. It's complete over the 25-yard line.
Nice job. Nice little play action in the backfield. Behe seems really calm in that pocket, delivering a nice ball to Von Schwartz coming across on a deep end pattern.
It's a 20-yard gain for the Marauders.
Here's, as we take a look at it, nice play action, holds the linebackers. There's the time for Behe. That was close. We had someone coming after him from the left, from the back side. Look for Western to try to fire a few more people at him to throw him off a little bit.
This crowd has been quieted a little bit by the McMaster offense and defense. This time it's Lumsden looking to get outside again, trying to use that speed. Positive yardage for the son of Neil.
That's right. Nice run by Jesse. A nice setup of his block, too. Kyle Peer with the turn back block on this play, and it was a great job. As we take a look at it, Kyle Peer returns just enough of his shoulder to take the guy out. And unfortunately, Kevin Mackey couldn't make a play on that. Nice job by Kyle Peer.
A 7-yard run for Lumsden. He has a 7.4 average on the year, rushing for 267 yards on 36 attempts coming into the game.
Becoming a big part of that McMaster offense this year.
The deep back is now Peer. Behe will hand the ball to Peer, and he's got some running room, tripped up inside the 15 of Western, and Mack pressing again.
That's right, one more first down, moving the chains closer to that TD line. It's becoming interesting to see how the Western defense is going to react to this. Let's take a look at Kyle Peer. Power to the left side, just goes right through, and this is the turf monster that got him on this one. Just tripped up on his own feet.
That's what the offensive players always say, eh? That turf monster.
You got it.
So it is first down, 10 to go. Behe under center. Lumsden the lone setback. The pitch is to Lumsden. Gets a cut black on the side, but a great job by the defender out there to make the tackle after being blocked. Let's go down to Elliot Friedman. Elliot, you got something for us.
Thank you very much, Tim. There are two McMaster Heck Crichton winners who are not in uniform today. Ben Chapdelaine up with you, and Kojo Aidu is down here with me. And Kojo, just what's your status? We're going to see you back in uniform again this year.
I should be back. Right now I'm just a little bit of rest. I'm an old man, so I need a little bit of rest after this game.
Now, these two guys who are running for you, Lumsden and Peer, just give us an example and what you think of is good about them and how they've been able to keep the running attack going well in your absence.
I mean, if you watch both of them, you know that they both, Jesse especially, who whenever he gets the ball, he can just blaze. Amazing.
And he went right there in close to the touchdown. Behe went there. Let's send it back up to Tim. Tim?
Elliot, it looks like Behe has scored a touchdown for the Marauders to put them up 13-0.
Nice job by John. There's something you wouldn't have seen 3 years ago. Nice play action here. Bootleg. John turns around, tries to just go to the outside. Good pressure by Western, but John just makes a play with his physical ability. Great job by John. Right, that's what I'm saying. You wouldn't have seen that 2 years ago.
The extra point is up, and it's good. 14-0. The number 3 ranked McMaster Marauders looking good early. Number 3 ranked McMaster Marauders looking good under the guidance of John Behe, the freshman.
That's right. Here he is on the 10-yard line. Play action to the right, bootlegs, and then he's got big pressure here from TD. Turns upfield, looks for the end zone, puts his shoulder down on Brian Tock. Ooh, that hurt right on the goal line.
So he is a little thin, 6'3", 180, but he lowered that shoulder and showed a little power. 5 plays, 45 yards, and officially an 11-yard run for Behe to give the McMaster Marauders a 14-0 lead. Coach Larry Haler definitely looking better for better things from his defense and his offense, who've turned the ball over. On the return, Christian Heffernan got some 4-3 speed, but that's going to come back. We've got an illegal block on this play.
John Millman turned back and unfortunately clipped or hit one of the McMaster covers from behind for a penalty.
Got a man down on the field as well. Looks like Trevor McGinich, a backup running back from London, Ontario, who is down on the field. I noticed some big blocks along with that block in the back, so perhaps he was involved in a little bit of that.
Bodies flying around early in this game on a big
first down.
37.
So we get the man who is
You gotta go
called
up inside, okay?
on the penalty, and you called it, buddy, John Millman.
You got it.
Got the razor eyes, razor sharp eyes.
It's a good thing that we're sitting up here to see it.
Only on first down.
Here we take a look at that penalty. Here's Drew Solon trying to do something on a return here. He tries to stretch it to the outside. And just that little push that you saw Millman give on the back of the number 51 for McMaster, Jay Pottinger. And unfortunately brings the Western Mustangs back on their own 7-yard line to start this drive.
So it's 14-0 for the McMaster Marauders. Does that surprise you, Ben? Such a great start. Number 3 and number 6 both undefeated and they're out early.
You know what? People asked me that this week. What do you think is going to happen this weekend? And I just couldn't tell them straight up what I thought. To be honest, both teams are really balanced. Two good offenses, 2 good defenses. You come in here, you think Western will have the edge with the emotions and the crowd, but you know what? Great job by Mac to take that crowd out of the way for the rest of the game.
Well, the CIS's leading passer is Chris Hessel. So far, he's 1 of 4 for 4 yards and a pickoff. This offense is going to have to kick it up a notch.
That's right.
Play action for Hessel. He's forced out of the pocket, throwing on the run. Fantuz, a great reaction. And that's a big-time gain for Andy Fantuz. And finally, this crowd has something to roar about.
That's right here. The crowd is getting excited. Fantuz, their big key player. As we take a look at him, there's Kwame Adu trying to bump him on this job. He's got him pretty good. They have somebody over top, and unfortunately for the MAC defense, Hessel made a great job trying to buy himself some time.
Great adjustment by Fantuz for the gain on that play of 28 yards. Hessel, this time hands off. Drew Solon's got some room to roam. He's across the 40-yard line.
That was a great job by Drew Solon trying to set up his block. Big Jeff St. Denis coming downfield to try to hit Brandon Little, who's about 6'1", 180 pounds, and you have a big 6'2", 300-pounder coming at you. Great job by Brandon to make a tackle.
So this crowd getting into it a wee bit here at Western. And I was walking in front of the building early on. They had to turn people away from this game. Over 10,500 on hand, and this is what the OUA and the CIS should be all about.
That's right. Love to have a lot of people out.
Second down, 5 to go. Quick little hitch pass to Ross, and he can't come up with it. So Hessel overthrows him a wee bit on that play.
I think that he just tried to rush his throw on this one. He takes one step back, and then he just tries to hand the ball off to his receiver. And it probably just slipped out of his hand. There's the other thing that we can talk about, the fact that, it is a pretty hot day, and you never know when the hands get slick. And the ball may have just slipped out of his hand.
Well, at least the Western defense can be happy about the fact that they're not going to start in their own zone as Nathan Weiss comes in to punt one more time. And looks like Western needs another player. They're going to have to call a timeout, and that's something Larry Haler won't be happy with.
You never like to have mistakes that are going to cost you timeouts early in this game, especially when you're already 14 points behind. Something that will have to be cleared up on the sidelines of Western.
All right, let's go down to Elliot Friedman for a quick injury update. Elliot?
And the reason that Western had to call that timeout because there was a man short was because Brandon Little is on the sideline, who normally plays in the special teams. His right knee is injured. He is out for the day, and considering they're already missing one defensive back in Kevin Allison, that's really going to hurt them against Mac's passing game, which has started off well. Guys?
Thanks, Elliot. That's Trevor McGinnish on the Western side, who is indeed out. So Weiss will get another crack at this. And there was Trevor on the sidelines, and he's out for the day, as Elliot told us. So Western down a man on special teams, and Weiss with a low kick, and Andre takes it in. 45-yard line. That's not bad field position either. So a wee bit of a surprise. Back out early. Back after days.
From the 40.
The University of Western Ontario. Look at Mike Kirkley's sweater, the number 21, hanging up in a very emotional day for the University of Western Mustangs. Brian Tock, cornerback, who is starting in this game, switched his number to 22 to honor Kirkley, as we see another positive game for the McMaster running game.
You know what, there's nothing you want more out of your running backs and out of your O-line than have a first down from a run play that you called on a 1st and 10 situation. I mean, that makes things pretty easy for the quarterback.
So they'll get another first down and 10 on the run by Kyle Peer. 3 games for Kyle Peer, 3 100-yard rushing affairs.
It's nice to see that Kyle finally comes out as a true running back. You know, he's a great athlete, can catch the ball, but has shown that he can run it this year.
And he'll get a chance. Actually, that's Lumsden into a host of tacklers. Let's go back to Toronto for an update of the Score Studios.
We will take you back out to the game in just a second, but first a golf update. Round 3 of the World Golf Championship concluded today at Thomastown, Ireland. Tiger Woods, on the strength of back-to-back 7 unders, held the lead after 2 rounds. And round number 3, he continued to roll. Those Nike irons working well. Here, Tiger on 18. The approach is beautiful. Shot a 5 under today. He's 19 under for the tournament, and that gives him a very comfy 5-shot advantage.
All right, thanks a lot, Sid. And as we see the flags come out, we can talk about
Procedure.
field position. And it is field position, as we find out from Mr. Referee. Mac has started at their own 44, Western's 22, Western's 45, and then their own 46, Ben. How much does that mean?
It's easy to call plays when you start your drive and you get to go downhill from the rest of for the rest of it. I mean, nobody wants to call plays when you're in the shadow of your own goalpost, but from the midfield on, it's pretty easy, and Mac has had that chance to do that today.
Second down, 15 to go. Behe remains at quarterback, and he will drop back to pass, looking deep for Vaughn Swart. Chris Aiken on the coverage, and it is incomplete. A good job, and it looks like they're moving Aiken to match up one-on-one with Vaughn Swart.
That's right. Chris Aiken is probably the most experienced defensive back that Western has on their side of the ball. As we take a look at John here dropping back, Behe with a nice throw to the outside. The only guy that can make a play on this ball is Vaughn Swart. Unfortunately, can't reel it in. That's the second one today. I'm sure Vaughn will be upset with himself.
So Mac brings out their punting squad. That's Mike Ray back to receive, Guillaume Leroux, and Jim Meldrum. Meldrum will get a chance to return it. Brandon Little down there. He gets back up after falling down and makes a tackle on special teams.
Talk about a guy who wants to make a play this afternoon. He gets blocked, falls on his butt, gets back up, and makes the hit. Nice job. As we take a look at Chris Aiken, who seems to have gotten hurt on the last play here with Vaughn Swart. Maybe an ankle.
Come on, JB, WWW.
Yeah, we saw him limping off. Let's send it down to Elliot Freeman. Got another injury update for us, Elliot.
Just want to make a clarification for you, Tim. I made an error earlier on. Brandon Little is the 13 on McMaster. Trevor McIntosh is the Western player, the running back. He was the reason they had to call the timeout before on special teams. He's injured. He's got a right knee injury, and he's done for the day.
All right, thank you very much, Elliot, for that. So Chris Hessel and the Western Mustangs start deep in their own zone. This time the 20. Once more, and it's a handoff. Looks like Drew Solon taking it, tailback spot.
That's right, and you know what? That's probably the best play so far for the Western offense. And you know, to tell that a 4-yard gain on a first down is always tough to take. But here's a little bit of a delay run play here, basically straight up the middle. Nothing fancy about this one. True Western offense.
We talk about the field position battle. Western has started at their own 18, their own 23, their own 8, and their own 22, so they've got a long field to work with thus far in this first quarter. Hessel back to pass, again flushed out of the pocket, and he tries to dump it off to Bantus, who comes back to the quarterback, as your coach always says when he's in trouble, come on back.
That's right, and you know, that's the second time that Hessel buys himself some time and that he finds Bantus creating a little bit of an opening to get a first down for the Western Mustangs. Great job by both of these players in this play.
We talked to Coach Haler about Andy Bantus, and he said the thing that impressed him most was his body control and his ability to adjust the ball. We've seen that twice already, Ben.
That's right, not everyone can catch the ball and keep running at the same time. Here he is coming back to the ball, catching it, and turning upfield right away to try to get more yardage.
First down, 10 to go for the Western Mustangs, trailing by 14 early. There's that inside handoff. Mike Bonk, he's got some room. Looks like a 9-yard run, close to a first down for Western. They're starting to move the ball.
That's right, nice little trap block down the middle here. That's where we see the misdirection in the backfield.
The first quarter has come to an end with Mike Bonk moving the football for the Western Mustangs. Down 14 to McMaster. The battle of the undefeateds returns after these. back to TD Waterhouse Stadium, and a sellout crowd turning people away from this stadium, brand new facility at the University of Western Ontario. And Western starting to move the ball, getting this crowd into it, down 14-0 after one quarter play. Drew Solan's got some room, and he's across the 50 of McMaster.
Great job by the big men up front to make a big hole for Drew Solon, getting some good yardage on the first down.
We talked about Chris Hessel leading the CIS in passing yards, but Western moving the ball the old school way. The long line of running backs, and they're starting to go to them.
The Blake and the Greg Marshall way, and the Shaw, as we take a look at the big run here by Drew Solon. Upfield, 2 hands on the ball, covering it to make sure he doesn't fumble it. Great job, great search.
Greg Marshall, Blake Marshall, Tim Tyndale, Sean Reed, all these great backs. Hessel going to the air, and looks like his receiver didn't even know it was coming. That was Ross out there.
Again, great pressure by the D-line from McMaster, pushing Hessel out of the pocket, trying to buy himself time. This time, unfortunately, Fantuz on the other side of the field.
Have a look at Hessel being flushed out and just trying to get it down there.
That's right, and you know what? This is where the athleticism of the receiver comes into play. And, you know, just a little short, trying to turn around to catch a ball that's behind you is never an easy thing to do.
Jeff Keeping was the intended receiver, 6'6", 241, a tight end, of course. Second down, 10. Hessel back to pass again, laying it out to the outside, and Fantuz almost made the adjustment again, but it's Adu on the coverage.
That's right. Kwame Adu, who's a lot smaller than Andrew Fantuz, but stays with them step for step all along the sideline. He hears his call. Ball from the sideline, turns his head. Just enough interference so that Andrew Fantuz can't make the catch. Nice job by Kwame Adu.
5'8", 185 is Adu in his 3rd year from Oakville, and of course the brother of Kojo. And Western, after moving the ball a little bit, they fumble a snap, and Nathan Weiss panics. And look at this. Taken by the up-back, a smart play there.
Andrew Kolbeck, one of the backup receivers for McMaster, coming in big here on special teams, sees the ball coming in at him, picking it up, and just going with it.
Second time on a bad snap early for the Western Mustangs.
And we talked about it this week with Coach Haler having some injuries, and the lineup hurts. And one of them is the long snapper that unfortunately couldn't dress for the game today due to injury. So you know, you can bet that the special teams people will be on the sidelines practicing that for the next few minutes.
Well, just letting it look like Western was moving the ball, might be able to pin Mac's offense deep. A poached punt, and Behe goes back to the air. Rankin trying to adjust outside, but couldn't make the catch. Let's go back down to Elliot Friedman on the Western sidelines.
Well, Ben touched on it a little bit. That's not the regular long snapper, Nick Tansley for Western. He's number 60. He does it now. Steve Roussel was the regular guy who did it. He's out with an injury. He missed the past couple of weeks. Tansley was able to make the snap on the field goal that won the game last week, but he's also the team's best pass blocking offensive lineman. And they're worried that just being responsible for both the snapping and the pass blocking is too much. But right now, they just don't have anybody better.
The always informative Elliot Friedman, thank you very much from that Western sidelines. Behe over the middle. And it is complete first down, Mac.
Nice catch
Conrad Kolke.
John Behe to stand back in the pocket, look at the pressure coming at him, but being calm. He drops back to his 5 steps. Look at him. He's got people blocking for him. Looks for Conrad Kolke coming underneath. Nice job. Here he is. He's got help from Morgan Thomas here in front, the fullback, and then he just takes a little shot. Nice job.
Took a nice little lick there. Chad Asseltine coming in and laying the lick. Behe hands it off. Looking to bounce outside. Lumsden back inside. A couple nice cutbacks for some positive yardage.
And there's one thing that Jesse Lumsden has learned over the last year. One thing is to go to the outside, but the other is just to turn upfield and head for the other team's end zone. And he's done a great job at learning that. And here he is on this handoff. Tries to go to the outside, sees there's nothing going, turns upfield, just go. Nice job for positive yardage, 5 yards on the first down.
Some guys are seduced by their own speed.
You're right, and it's easy in high school to run around everyone, but when you get to this level, people will catch you, so you got to be able to run through them.
Both backs, 5 carries, 26 yards, although Pierre will add to that, but he's short of the first down as a host of Mustangs wrap him up before he can get to that first down marker.
There's a big stand by the Western defense here. Great job to push the MAC offense to head back to the bench and send the kicking team out.
The Western offense has got to get something going here. They seem to have a little success running the football on the last series of downs, but they've got to continue that. They need to put some points on the board before halftime.
That's right. I don't think that Hessel has completed a pass yet from the pocket, so it's important that the O-line does a good job at picking up the different blitzes and fronts that the defense from MAC shows them.
Mike Ray, high kick. It'll be taken at the 25-yard line. Got some room. Jim Meldrum again up to the 39-yard line for Western. Let's send it back to Sid Sixero in Toronto for an update.
Time for a quick soccer update. Manchester United were at home today to a injury-ravaged Tottenham squad. Man U this season in the Premiership have had trouble scoring goals. Today it wasn't easy, but they did manage one via the penalty. Ruud van Nistelrooy. Goal on Casey Keller. Man U 6 points back of first-place Arsenal. Let's go back to the game.
Thank you very much for that update, Sid. So Chris Hessel, 56 and 90 for 980 yards coming into this game. He struggled a wee bit despite being the CIS's leading passer. He'll throw again. Over the middle, looking for the big tight end. This time he will hang on. That's Jeff keeping with the reception and a first down, Western.
Great job by Western right off the first down here. Get the crowd back into this game using the big man going across the middle here for a nice reception.
That's Keeping's 5th catch of the year.
Nice throw by Hessel here. There's no one that can make a play on that. No, it's a hard throw to make, but nice job. Here he is on the right-hand side, 78 coming across the middle. Nice throw right over that defensive player's head. There's nothing that Nick Bido could do.
Solon on the carry. And in the backfield is Colin Shanahan.
Big Daddy is his nickname down at McMaster, and there's a reason for it. He's a big dude. That's 6'2" and over 300 pounds. A great job on the defensive line by Colin Shanahan.
He's listed at 295. Are you giving us a little tip? He's a little over 295?
You know what? He comes into camp at 295, but for whatever reason, he's one of the few players that adds on weight as the season goes on. But he's one of the great core players of that defensive group.
In his 3rd year from Hamilton, Ontario. So 2nd down and long for the Mustangs. Blitz coming from the outside. Hessel wrapped up and dropped for a loss. And again, the Western offense stalls a wee bit as they come with the halfback blitz.
Great call by defensive coordinator Joe Sardo to send Manny Furtado, the strong side linebacker, on an outside blitz. Unfortunately, Manny is down at this point, but he did a great job coming in for a hit. Here he is. You'll see 2 guys coming from the outside. Here's Manny on the outside of the... Great job. Chris Hessel never saw him coming around.
You can see that leg get caught underneath there of the offensive lineman, Nick Tansley. It looks like Furtado lands on it in kind of an awkward position. We'll be back with more after these.
Hockey in all its splendor. Source for Sports, over 150 stores Canada-wide. We know our stuff. Hockey in all its splendor. Source for Sports, over 150 stores Canada-wide. We know our stuff.
Well, before the game, one of the Western assistant coaches, Joe Leckie, who was a center when he played here in the early 90s, said he really thought one of the determining factors about today's game would be how Western held the MAC pressure. Western lost 2 linemen from last year, one from academics, and Nick Shields, who was one of their better ones, took a good job that he couldn't turn down, and therefore he left school. So they're a little bit more inexperienced than they wanted to be, and they said if they could hold off the MAC rush, they'd have a chance today. But if you guys have seen early on, they're having real trouble with it, guys.
Thanks, Elliot. And Get a good sign here as Furtado is walking off the field. And interesting note about Leckie is that his cousin is Drew Solon, so it's always nice for a running back to have your cousin be the offensive line coach.
You know he's going to have your, talk about having your back, is right.
So Nathan Weiss has been a busy man. He's punting the ball again with just under 10 minutes remaining in the second quarter. University Rush right here on the Score Television Network. That two-man deep for the McMaster Marauders, and this is a better kick. And Andre just gets his hands up there. Pretty good hands.
That was pretty good hands, but not something that high school players should be trying to watch and copy at your own games. It's, you know,
interesting catch over the head into the sun. I would suggest making sure that you have your elbows together to catch the ball next time, but at least he caught it.
Coach Chapdelaine, yeah, he should have backed up a wee bit. That might have helped. That'll make you nervous as a coach.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Seeing your deep man take it over his head on a punt.
Close to your own 5-yard line. That's always interesting.
Trying to see if indeed we have Mike Zaremba into the game, and we do. Throws a quick out.
Nice job by Chris Rankin to come back for that catch. You know, Coach Marshall had talked about changing quarterbacks, and here's the second quarter. Zaremba coming in. First play, nice throw for 7 yards. That's pretty good for a first play and confidence builder.
Last week, Zaremba was 0 for 11 in that game versus Windsor, so helps the confidence a wee bit to come out here, and Coach Marshall showing some confidence, getting a throwing play right away and a completion.
That's right. Hopefully he can do the same on this one.
Zaremba back to pass again, this time pressure coming. And Zaremba, the athlete, looking for the first down marker, chased out, and he ends up hitting the ground pretty hard as he's chased out by Brian Wetloff.
That was a great job by Zaremba. He saw the pressure coming. He knows he's responsible for Craig Richter on the outside. Steps up into the pocket and just runs away from Adam DeCola, 91, and it goes for a first down on the outside. Nothing better to have from your quarterback.
So a first down for McMaster at their own 31-yard line, and there's Zaremba's numbers on the year. Last year he saw a little time behind a certain unnamed Crichton Award winner, but had some struggles last week. We'll see if he can bounce back. Pitch out wide, there's Lumsden. Searching upfield, and looks like about a 7-yard gain again for Lumsden. 7 yards a carry, that ain't half bad.
That's not bad, and I think that's what his average is over the season, 7.4 or something like that. And here he's a yard away from a first down. That's a pretty good play off the bat like that.
So 9 yards on first down for McMaster, and Zaremba, good start for him, especially when you have a little confidence shaken last week.
That's right, and I talked to Mike this week, and he just said that he probably had his worst game ever as a football player last week, but he was ready to bounce back, and here he is doing pretty well so far.
Zaremba will hand the ball off again. Kyle Peer up over the top, looking for the first down, and look for the officials to make a sign, but I think they're going to bring the chains out. No, first down indeed.
That's right. If you take a look at this play right here, I would suggest that as a coach here, I would suggest never leaving your feet as a running back. But again, as long as you get that first down, you know, Brian Hamoud getting double teamed here. Good search by the O-line.
So the O-line looking to Western's leading tackler, double teaming them. And it's a first down, Mike Zaremba. Play clock running down. Zaremba gets it off. Hand off, Lumsden met in the backfield and swallowed up by a couple of Mustangs.
That's right, nice job by the defensive line here of the Mustangs to read that trap block coming around.
John Saborko in on the tackle, 6'5", 265 in his third year from London. A two-time academic All-Canadian that helps out Asseltine on that tackle.
That's right, and you know, whoever said that football players weren't smart was wrong. You have some All-Canadians on the defensive line, nonetheless.
The big fella's smart. So it's second down and long. We'll see how Zaremba reacts to this. He's got tons of time in the pocket, but got a little happy heavy feet there, let it go, and it was incomplete.
I think so. I think that Mike got a little confused with his reads on this one. He had Vaughn Swart open on the outside, on the left-hand side, and he was one-on-one with Chris Aiken. Post move, then turns back to the corner, and there's no one in the same area code as Vaughn as he puts his hands up saying, oh, please, Mike, I wish you'd seen me. But something that Coach Marshall is talking to Mike about right about now.
So last year, guys like Vaughn Swart, guys like Chris Rankin, who caught 3 passes this year, caught a lot of balls. He was a first-team All-Canadian, was Rankin.
That's right.
And it's kind of tough to adjust from some quarterback named Ben Chapelet. So Max down there on special teams. Western's got to do something before this half ends. 14-0. Max back with more.
To the guy who's open, wide open, Kyle Pierce.
Well, they were going to hold him off for a series, maybe as a precaution, but you saw Manny Furtado run back in. It was his neck. He says he's fine, and obviously he is, guys.
Well, Western with their best field position of the day as they started their own 46. Solon met Colin Shanahan again. So Colin Shanahan in on the tackle. He called him Big Daddy, and Big Daddy stuck Solon.
That's right, and I don't think that Colin Shanahan says more than 3 words a year in the defensive huddle, but Colin plays every single down, and he's the kind of guy that will get beat up, but get right back up and go right at it again. He loves it.
He's from the Steel City. Say they make him tough down there. Hessel, play action. Stepping up in the pocket, hit as he throws, it's up. Fantuz, did he come down with that? Yes, he did.
What a job by Adu to try to get up there, but Fantuz, a better athlete, I guess, or the height difference comes in on this one. Here's Hessel trying to drop play action in the backfield. A little bit of pressure coming at him. Big Daddy on the play again. He just throws it up. Fantuz just with the 2 hands. Great job by Adu right here. Stays with him step by step. He's right there to make a play. Here's the 6'2", the 6'3" guy jumping over a 5'8" person. That's what will kill you all afternoon.
So Fantuz doing a great job. 6'4", 205, going up and getting that ball against the 5'8", 185. And Western always likes those big receivers, especially Tom McConnell and Tyrone Williams, who ended up in the NFL with the Cowboys for a while. So they go after those big guys, and you can see what it'll do.
That's right, and you know what? Today they can use their help. The rushing yards so far for Western are 37, maybe 40 now after Drew Solon's last run, but they're going to need to put the ball in the air and complete some to Fantuz and others to try to move forward on this field.
Well, they did get a first down on the Fantuz reception. Hessel looking, finding Greg Ross. More positive yardage and another first down for the Mustangs.
Once again, nice throw by Chris Hessel, and great job by the Mustangs receiver to get the ball, try to make plays for their offense. Here as we take a look at Chris Hessel dropping back, half roll to the left, sets his footing. Nice ball to the outside. Great job by Greg Ross to get up there and make sure to reel that ball in for a nice yardage.
Another tall guy, 6'2", in his second year from Ottawa. So Hessel, first time we've seen this from the shotgun. Solon and Bonk. Bonk stays into pass protect. That's a quick hit to Ross. Positive yardage and another first down as Ross wrestles his way inside the 20-yard line.
Quickly to hockey, the Ottawa Senators have traded defenseman Sammy Salo to Vancouver for the rights to Peter Schaefer. Schaefer has signed a 2-year deal with the Sens and had this to say earlier today.
Yeah, we're really excited to be moving to Ottawa and to get a fresh start with a good club. And I think, like you said, it's been a long drought. It's been a year and a half struggling with Vancouver, and it's, like I said, very exciting for us to be coming to Ottawa.
Drew Stewart, the ball carrier for the Mustangs.
Yes, guy. Nothing like running without
13.
your shirt.
Captain!
Got a penalty on the play. It was Drew Solon on the carry. Let's go down to the referee. Is he going to say anything to Chris Hessel? They're marching off about 5 yards.
McMaster, first down repeated. 1-3.
Oh, closing out the half here, Ben. And Western is now inside the 15-yard line. How big would this be?
You know what? It's key for Western to put some points on the board at this time in this game. Bring the crowd back in.
Hessel has made his last 4 passes. We got flags in the play as Solon takes it over the 10-yard line. We're getting some flags, some laundry coming out onto the field. 2 in a row. That's got to burn Marshall.
Well, you can be sure that if you take a look over to the McMaster sideline, he's pacing up and down, and he's going to let know of that D line that you can't have that, especially close to your own goal line.
Offside. McMaster, first down.
So now we're first down, goal to go for Western, and you don't want to give them yards down here.
That's right. Jeff Smith coming off the edge here, just a little antsy to get to the quarterback, but you know, it may hurt them, but at the same time, you have to have a tough defense to win games.
First down, Western, goal to go inside the 10-yard line. Hessel, plenty of time, looks down. It is complete to Guillaume Leroux at the 1-yard line. Hessel started 3 of 9. He's now made his last 5 completions.
You know, and that's what you need from your quarterback in a situation like this. He's taken his team from his own 46-yard line all the way down. Here's taking his time in the pocket. Ball a little low, probably a little bit lower than he wanted, but Guillaume Leroux going down and making a nice catch for his team.
Second down from the McMaster 1. 3:04 remaining in the second quarter. Tight ends galore. Hessel, we've got flags down, and in goes Mike Bonk, but I think it's going to be on Western. I thought I heard a whistle before the play.
Both line judges were throwing their flags at the same time. There's actually 2 flags. They're discussing it right now with the head referee to see what the call will be.
Well, we talked about Coach Marshall being upset. This might upset Haler.
Offside. Defense.
Oh,
offside. Offense. We're going to redo this. Yep.
Throw it all away.
I guess both clubs were really antsy to get off the ball. So 2 offsides, and let's just play that down over again, he says.
So Coach Marshall, Coach Haler, heart rates go down a little bit, and we can concentrate on a huge play inside the 3-minute warning of this first half with Western down 14-0 from the 1-yard line.
Well, it's key for Western to put at least 6 on this board right now. Knowing Coach Haler a little bit, they're going to probably take 2 cracks at it. Even if they don't make it on this second down, I wouldn't be surprised to see them going for it on 3rd and short.
So there's a 3-minute warning whistle with Mac leading 14-0. But Western moving the ball a little better in this last little while. Key play, late going first half, second and goal from the 1-yard line. Mike Bonk, the fullback. Drew Solon in motion along with Guillaume Leroux. Hessel, and we've got flags again, and he will escape and score a touchdown, but once again, flags down on the field.
Not a bad finale for a broken play. This is, procedure on Western this time. I guess it can't go always badly for McMaster. This is the 4th play with the flag on the ground. So it's a little bit of a sloppy offense, or a sloppy play here by both teams.
So Mac marches them in, and then Western marches back. That's not a bad play on a broken play. Too bad the flags were on the field, but Western now backed up, and it'll be second down from the 8-yard line of Mac.
And if there's one thing you don't want to see as a quarterback, when you take the snap off your center and you turn around and you see both of your running backs heading away from you, you never want to see that. Good thing Hessel handled it pretty well on that one.
My mistake is down to the 6-yard line. Hessel in the shotgun, 2 split backs, and oh my goodness.
This is when the crowd comes into play. I think that both teams are being sucked in with the noise of the crowd. This procedure. 5 plays in a row.
Western, second down repeated.
5 flags on 5 consecutive plays, and McMaster marched them in. Western's marched themselves back out beyond the 10-yard line, so it's been nullified, basically.
That's right, and you know what? Western is marching backwards instead of going forwards at this point. You know, they're not helping themselves on this one.
Second and goal from the 11, but we can't forget that Chris Hessel has made his last 4 completions, and he will pass. Flushed out of the pocket, flag down for the 6th consecutive play, trying to get it to Fantuz, and it is picked off. On his horse is Mike Botterill, and he's got nothing but cow pastures. All the way down, we've got a flag on the field. Touchdown, Mac pending the flag, but the referees are staying at that side of the field.
Now there's a lot going on this play right here. There is great pressure from the front 7 of McMaster. Hessel tries to run away from it, throws the ball up. Adu and Fantuz are both going up for the ball. Contact at the action.
Are we ever going to get the second down done?
It's on McMaster. That could have been a massive, massive play. Not only do they take the points away from Western, but they almost put 6 on the board. Another flag.
Here's the action on the one-on-one. Adu and Fantuz. Yeah, Kwame Adu gets his left hand on Andrew Fantuz's right hand. Doesn't get a flag for it, but there's an offside prior to the snap coming in on a blitz that got called for offside. This is a tough one for Mac.
Making the hearts beat in the crowd here a little bit. The flags going back and forth. We've seen him go into the end zone twice on Mac's side, once on Western's side, but it remains second and goal. Pitch out, Drew Solon cuts it upfield, and he is hammered. Just
huge hit
at the 1-yard line, and it was Kwame Adu again.
Huge hit by Kwame Adu to come in here, and you know what? Andrew Fantuz missed his block on Kwame, and you don't let an athlete like that free along the goal line. Here's the crowd getting into it.
On third down, the Western players asking for their crowd to start. You can see Fantuz standing there with that guilty look on his face.
That's right.
Guillaume Leroux now asking for the crowd to quiet down. Third down and goal from the 1-yard line of the Marauders. Hessel under center. Bonk. The carry and the big fullback will bring it in. Touchdown, Western.
There's nothing he can do against a big man like that, putting his head down and going forward. Great job by Mike Long. To stick his helmet in, let his legs do the work, and just get through the defensive line right here. They go to the right of the offensive line. I mean, Josh Armstrong gets a helmet on this one, right in the chops. There's nothing you can do against 6'2" and 235 pounds of meat coming at you.
That's Mike Bonk's first rushing touchdown of the season, and an absolutely massive play for Western just before the half to make it a 7-point lead, pending this extra point by Nick Spazek.
We got ourselves a game here.
Leroux the holder, Spazek, who has replaced the regular kicker, normally a tight end, makes it a 14-7 game. We're getting what we paid for. A couple of undefeateds going at it. Back after these. Welcome back to TD Waterhouse Stadium. Number 3 versus number 6. Mac versus Western. Jesse Lumsden receives the kickoff, and Lumsden got a seam, trying to follow his blockers. A big block at the end of that play there, and they're across the 40-yard line.
Nice job by Jesse to try to get some yardage here on the kickoff return. His own men stopped him, but it was a great job here as we take a look at Mike Zaremba going back in the game. Coach Marshall splitting the first quarter and the second between Behe and Zaremba.
So Zaremba stays in. He's played the second quarter. Behe playing the first quarter and having some success, giving back a 14-0 lead. But Western, a 6-play drive, has cut it to 7. They held it with all those penalties for a long time. Zaremba, handoff up the middle. It's Lumsden. Brian Wetlaufer in on the tackle for Western.
Now, after watching the last few plays from the last drive, look for Mac to keep the ball, try to control the clock here, try to go into the halftime with that 7-point lead remaining. The one thing you don't want to do is give up a big pick just before the end of the half.
1:24 and counting remaining in the first half, and we Expected a good game. We're getting one here, although it lasted a while. The penalties slowed us down a wee bit, but it's 14-7. Zaremba, plenty of time, looking deep. Vaughn Swart has a step on his man. Chris Aiken, he can't come up with it.
There's the same play that we talked about earlier. We had the post move and then the corner back to the, towards the sideline. Zaremba had a nice ball on this one, over top of the shoulders, to the outside. No one can make a play, but Vaughn Swart trying to extend one more step. He needs a little extension to his long arms, maybe another 2 inches to try to get that ball.
Well, indeed, it has been an interesting setup for Mike Zaremba, and he saw that play a little earlier, and you saw it. Fumble the ball as Guillaume Leroux just throws it out of bounds. Back with more.
With you on the long road to victory. Pioneer, advanced fuel for today's driver. Proud sponsor of Ontario University Athletics.
So the Western Mustangs, Coach Haler have 58 seconds for which to work with left in this first half. Hessel, two-back set, bonk in motion, play action, and Hessel looks down and Fantuz again in front of Kwame Adu.
That's right, deep comeback here from the Western Mustangs. And that's a pattern that even the McMaster offense runs. This is something that stayed from Coach Marshall back in the day. Here he is pushing the deep pattern. Oh no, he's coming back towards the sideline where no one can make a play but himself. Kwame Adu just pushing him out of bounds.
This sellout crowd starting to make some noise here. And Ben, you mentioned this can be a very loud stadium when it wants to be. Solon looking for the first down, and it looks like he has with 47 seconds left in the half.
Sid Xero back here at Score Studios. A quick reminder, I'll be by at halftime with a sports update, news on a rather significant NHL trade, and much more. That's with me at the half. Let's go back to TD Waterhouse.
Welcome back. So 47 seconds left, and I gotta get into the head of Coach Haler here. Are you looking to get some points on the board, or are you just looking to go to halftime?
You know what? If I were on the field and I had anything to do with decision making here, I'd go for the no huddle offense. We got a first down here. You got to look forward to just at least bring that pointed, or that scoring back to 14-14 before the half. You don't need to go for the end zone right away. You've got plenty of time with 45 seconds left on the clock. Move the ball downfield with the no-huddle offense and let Hessel do its thing.
And Hessel has been doing his thing. Last 6 passes, 6 of 6, 92 yards. So after a 3-9 start, he settled down and whistles. Timeout Western. That's their second timeout, and they are out of timeouts. And when you're trying to march down the field with 31 seconds left,
it makes it a little bit tougher on the quarterback. You need someone really experienced, which is the good thing that they have Hessel for right now. But at the same time, they just lost 15 seconds coming off of that first down call.
Why don't we listen in and see if we can hear some stuff?
Well, let's run. Sure. Yeah, let's go corner. Okay. Max. Let's go 60 max. All right. Backside switch.
Which corner? Okay, the 60 max protection that we just heard Coach Haler talk about here is simply the number of guys that are going to stay on the O-line to protect Hessel. He's going to have 6 men protecting for him. He's going to send down 5 receivers downfield, and listening to what Coach Haler said, look for a corner pattern to try to down the field. So let's see what this turns out to be.
Hessel under center. He's got one back, that's Solon. He'll pass protect. Blitz coming from the outside. Hessel gets it away, and he's got his man Christian Alberton breaks a tackle, and he is gone. We called it 14-14, and it just might be that pending the extra point. Huge play for the Western Mustangs. 56-yard catch and run.
That's right. That was a great play. I guess I should have been coaching on this one, but no, that was a great call. Great throw by Hessel to stay in the pocket, take the hit. And here's the catch. Great job by Chris Heffernan to come in and to just grab that ball, making sure that he carries it to go in. Here's Chris Hessel hanging in, taking a big shot from Ray Marius. You know what, keeps his eye downfield to make sure that that ball was a touchdown. Great job. Look at the camera. You know what, we go into the halftime with a tie game.
I hear he's the man. Christian Heffernan. Spasic up and good. 14 apiece. Absolutely massive play made by Christian Heffernan, who spent 3 years in the Atlanta Braves minor league system playing some baseball, but here makes a massive play for the Western Mustangs.
He looked like an outfielder going towards the warning track on this one. You know what? He brought that crowd back in this game just before the half. Looked to have an exciting second half on this one.
Well, Western couldn't have scripted a better finish to the first half. And on the other side of the ball, Coach Marshall's got to be rallying his troops.
You're right. I'm sure he's going to be talking about it with the guys at halftime. But, you know, the main thing is that you have a quarterback right here dropping back, having 6, 7 guys protecting for him. Stay in the pocket, keeping with his read, just delivering the perfect ball to the outside shoulder. Chris Heffernan. Nice job. Here he is celebrating before getting to the end zone.
Well, you saw Brandon Little, and we spoke about him. He's got 5 pickoffs. That's no slouch on the coverage there.
That's right. You know, Brandon tried to make a play on that one, but that crowd was so loud that he probably couldn't hear the call for the ball coming in at that point, and, you know, got beat for 6.
Look at the scoring drive. 3 plays, 67 yards, a 58-yard catch and run by Christian Heffernan. And we're tied at 14, 2 of the best teams in the country. Onside kick here, and Western looked like they had the football, but that, my friend, takes a lot of guts.
You're right. You got a whole troop of Western Mustangs coming at you. All you got to do is drop on the ball, but good thing that Manny Furtado was there on that one. Chris Francis just froze on that play, but here's the kick from Spacek, and here's Chris Francis, 53, not knowing what he should do. Tries to go for a block.
No, he picked off
at least he protected his buddy Furtado to go and make a play. Nice job.
The bad part of this is that Mac, with 23 seconds left on the clock, starts at their own 52. They'll hand the ball off. Lumsden looking to get outside, follows his block from here and cuts it back. Jesse Lumsden across midfield, and he's got about 50 yards for a gain of 15. If they have a timeout left, the clock stops at 12 seconds, and they'll call that timeout. I saw Vaughn Swart motioning to the referee for a timeout with 12 seconds left. Boy, Jesse did a lot of running there.
Yeah, you're right. You know, he did a great job running, but it killed a lot of time off that clock, so I don't know which one's best, the nice run or the time off the clock. Here's Jesse trying to make something happen. He's got a bunch of guys trying to make blocks for him. We see even Mike Zaremba coming through trying to make something happen. Now you're left with 12 seconds. You should probably get 2 plays, maybe 3 if you call 2 in the huddle right now, as Coach Marshall is discussing it out with Zaremba to see what they're going to call. Look for a quick pass to the outside. If I can remember Coach Marshall's theory and his way of thinking, look for a quick short pass to the outside before trying to go for the home run.
It's been the tale of 2 quarters here. Mac jumped out to a 14-0 lead in the first half, and since then, Western, courtesy Mike Long, touchdown, and a Christian Heffernan big play. 12 seconds left, first down. Mac just across midfield, short out here, catches it. His first reception of the year, short gain, and with 8 seconds left to go in the second half, we'll have to see the next play call.
Great job by Chris Dede to make a hit on Kyle, not allowing him to get out of bounds. Just a quick bench route to the outside. Here's Kyle trying to run out of bounds. Chris Dede hanging on to him to make sure that he stays in to force Mac to use their second timeout.
That's what they teach you. Wrap those legs.
That's it. You hope that if he doesn't have his legs anymore, he can't move. Sometimes it doesn't always work, but this time it certainly did.
TD, 5'9", 170 in his 4th year from London, Ontario. And how many yards do you think we need to see Mike Ray, who is a good place kicker, to get in range for a field goal?
There's not much wind here today, so that one wouldn't come into play. I think that if they get the ball inside of the 40-yard line, you can see Coach Marshall going for it.
Mike Ray
is first in the OUA in scoring. Zaremba under center. Quick sprint out. Looking to the sidelines. He's got a man. And Swartz stays in bounds. And they've got one more play left inside the 30. And it looks as though Mike Ray will be sprinting out.
That's right. You know, Vaughn Swart was lucky on this one. He could have run the clock out by trying to get more yardage. He should have just run out of bounds. Here's the same pattern that we saw earlier on Western by Fantus. He's pushing it deep, trying to go for a long. No, he's coming back towards the sideline. There's the similarities between the MAC offense and the Western offense. Nice throw by Zaremba to complete that ball.
Last play of the first half. Mike Ray from 29 yards away. It's up. And it's no good. Short. Chris Aiken will just get out of the end zone. And we have a beautiful game going on here, Ben Chapdelaine. 14 apiece between the number 3 and the number 6 team in the nation.
You know what? You can't ask for anything else better than that in CIS and OUA football. I mean, you got two of the best teams in the country going at it. They're tied after 30 minutes of play. They're going in. Coaches are going to talk about it. It's going to be a great second half.
Mike Ray, 6 of 8 field goals is long from 42, so he had the potential. Let's throw it down to Elliot Friedman with a special guest. Elliot?
Thank you very much, Tim. I'm with McMaster head coach Greg Marshall. And Greg, you had them where you wanted them. 14-0 after 2 possessions. What got out of your hands and allowed them to get back into the game?
You know, a change of possession. The wind is a little stronger here than you think. It has affected the kicking game, and it certainly affected the passing game. And when Western had the wind, they were very aggressive with it. Maybe we were a little bit tentative, but we just got to play a little bit more discipline on defense. We cannot, take the penalties that we've been taking.
What was the decision to go change from Behe to Zaremba, and what's your plan for the quarterbacks in the second half?
I haven't decided yet, but it was Mike's turn, and that's the way we had predetermined it. So it was only fair to give him that opportunity. He did a nice job on that last drive. So we'll be ready the second half.
All right, thank you very much, Coach. That is Greg Marshall, the McMaster head coach. The halftime show is next. It's 18-all. McMaster loses an early 2-touchdown lead.